I'm going to do something a little bit different today and talk about current events, which I don't do a lot of, but this coronavirus has a lot of people concerned, and for the past week and a half or so, the stock market has been going crazy, as in crashing, and it's because of the coronavirus. And that tells me, I mean, I don't watch TV news, almost never. I might watch the weather, and then only if something's rolling in. But as far as world news and everything, I don't believe what the TV talking heads try to tell us anyway, so I don't watch it. But, and when I have turned it on, the only thing I see about coronavirus is how it's Donald J. Trump's fault, supposedly. But anyway, looking at the way the stock market has been reacting, though, tells me that people really are concerned about this. And I'm cautious, especially when I go out in public. So I was just reading something here, and it's got some good tips in it and some good information. And this is by a pathologist, Dr. James Robb, MD, pathologist. And he just goes through a few things. He says, he's got some rules here. He says, number 1, no handshaking. Use a fist bump, slight bow, elbow bump, etc. Number 2, use only your knuckle to touch light switches, elevator buttons, etc. Lift the gasoline dispenser with a paper towel or use a disposable glove. Number 3, open doors with your closed fist or hip. Do not grasp the handle with your hand unless there is no other way to open the door. Especially important on bathroom and post office / commercial doors. Number 4, use disinfectant wipes at the stores when they are available, including wiping the handle and child seat in grocery carts. Number 5, wash your hands with soap for 10 to 20 seconds and or use a greater than 60% alcohol-based hand sanitizer whenever you return home from any activity that involves locations where other people have been. Let me pause right there. And I looked at this hand sanitizer that I have beside me here, and I wash my hands a lot, and I use hand sanitizer too. I wash my hands with soap and water more than I use hand sanitizer, but I like to take hand sanitizer with me when I go out into the world, so that I can use it after anything that that makes me think that makes me a little bit concerned about something I might have touched, a handle or whatever. So this is what I've got with me right now, and I looked at it to see if it passes muster. This came from Dollar General, and so I looked at the back of it, and it says active ingredient ethyl alcohol 70%. So that does pass muster. Here's another one. Let me see. Here's one of the little bottles I like to take with me when I go out into the world. This is Top Care. I got this from, I don't know, Walgreens maybe. And it's one of the little squeeze bottles. And I buy those so I can put it in my my go bag, and always have it with me. So let me see, get my magnifying glass here. Ethyl alcohol 70%. Okay, so that passes muster too. I think that's probably going to be pretty standard, and that's about the same amount of alcohol as the standard 70% isopropyl alcohol that you can buy. Now, Here is some 50% isopropyl alcohol. That's not enough, because it says 60% or greater. And this is a doctor saying this, a pathologist. So I'm going to take his advice. But the 70% IPA, isopropyl alcohol, should be fine if that's what you've got. But this hand sanitizer stuff is probably better. And here are a couple more. Now these did come from Walmart, even though I'm for the most part avoiding Walmart now. But I guess I've had these for a while. So they're probably the same thing. Nope. They still pass muster, but they're only 62%. So there you go. That's the Walmart brand. It's a lower percentage than the other two store brands that we looked at, including Dollar General. Another reason not to shop at Walmart. And I also wanted to say about the hand sanitizer. I read recently that hand sanitizer doesn't work unless you use it for 4 minutes or something like that. And without going into too many details about it, I don't believe that. That does not make any sense, because if it didn't work unless you stood there using it for 4 minutes, then it would not be the FDA, I guess, is Food and Drug Administration, is probably in charge of that, and I'm sure they would not allow it to be sold and advertised as being a hand sanitizer if you had to stand there and use it for 4 minutes. And so I don't buy that. So I believe that the hand sanitizer 60% or greater alcohol does work. With that, moving on. Okay. Greater than 60% alcohol-based hand sanitizer whenever you return home from any activity that involves locations where other people have been. 6. Keep a bottle of sanitizer available at each of your home's entrances and in your car for use after getting gas or touching other contaminated objects when you can't immediately wash your hands. Now what I like for that is the Lysol spray. It's also mostly alcohol, and it has some soap in it too. It's mostly ethyl alcohol and has some soap in it. So it's very similar to what the hand sanitizer is, even though it smells really chemically. But it does the job. You know, you can lay down a mist on a on a surface, and it will it'll pretty much kill whatever's on it. But at the same time, it's not super toxic. So that's a good thing. Okay, number 7, if possible, call for sneeze into a disposable tissue and discard. Use your elbow only if you have to. The clothing on your elbow will contain infectious virus that can be passed on for up to a week or more. Now that is kind of frightening, that it can survive on a surface like that for a week. Okay, and he moves on and says what he has stocked in preparation for the pandemic spread to the U.S. Number 1, latex or nitrile disposable gloves. I carry nitrile gloves with me pretty much everywhere I go. I don't usually end up using them, but I like to have them available. Number 2, disposable surgical masks. I use some of the dust masks if I feel like I need something like that. And I usually don't, but I can definitely foresee a situation where I would, be out there doing my job or whatever and see something or hear something or whatever that would make me want to don the gloves and surgical mask or dust mask. And if you get dust masks, get the best ones that you can. But get some anyway, even if you have to get the cheap ones. It says that the primary use for that is to prevent you from touching your nose or mouth. And it says, stock up now with hand sanitizers and latex or nitrile gloves. Again, I buy nitrile gloves because I think they're tougher. And also, latex, some people have latex allergies. I don't, as far as I know. But, you know, what if you have to help somebody that has a latex allergy? Allergies can be pretty bad. Anyway, get the appropriate sizes for your family. The hand sanitizers must be alcohol-based and greater than 60% to be effective. Stock up now with zinc lozenges. That's one I haven't heard. These lozenges have been proven to be effective in blocking coronavirus and most other viruses from multiplying in your throat and nasal pharynx. Use this directed several times each day when you begin to feel any cold-like symptoms beginning. It is best to lie down and let the lozenge dissolve in the back of your throat and nasal pharynx. Cold Ease lozenges is one brand available, but there are other brands available. I'll have to look into that. I wasn't aware of that. And okay, let me see. There was something else, something I missed. Okay, let's pause here while I find what I was looking for. Okay, I found what I was looking for. I just kind of skipped over it, I guess. I probably read it, actually. But I want to go back over this. It says, oh, note, this virus is spread in large droplets by coughing and sneezing. This means that the air will not infect you, but all the surfaces where these droplets land are infectious for about a week on average. Everything that is associated with infected people will be contaminated and potentially infectious. That's a problem. But then it goes on and says the virus is on surfaces and you will not be infected unless your unprotected face is directly coughed or sneezed upon. This virus only has cell receptors for lung cells. It only infects your lungs. The only way for the virus to infect you is through your nose or mouth via your hands or an infected cough or sneeze onto or into your nose or mouth. Okay, and it says, it goes on and talks about the surgical masks and says that the reason for those is to prevent you from touching your nose or mouth. And it says we touch our nose and mouth 90 times a day without knowing it. I've heard that too. But he says this is the only way this virus can infect you. It is lung specific. The mask will not prevent the virus and a direct sneeze from getting into your nose or mouth. It is only to keep you from touching your nose or mouth. So, that's good stuff to know, you know. It's a bad thing that it'll live so long outside of a host. That's the bad news. But the good news is that we know, according to him, and he should know what he's talking about, we know that that it's lung specific, so therefore that helps us to know what to do to combat the danger. So that's all I've got. I just wanted to pass that along, and some of you guys might have seen it already, but some of you might not have, and it's definitely a subject worth talking about. So thanks for watching.